Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God of our Yahweh, who do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Mashiach Yahushai. Back at it once again. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We just in the spirit today. Just posted a video. Hope everybody was able to check it out. If not, go check it out when the live is over. Like and subscribe to the channel. Share the videos if you can, if the spirit is on you. And even comment if you want to as well. Let us know what y'all think. Right? But yeah, man, we just been in the spirit lately. Really been trying to get here and get into the class and produce some content and get everybody involved so that we can continue to build this nation, continue to build, our organization, continue to spread this word and just get the truth out. It's a lot of people waking up just to the fact that they've been lied to. A lot of people have been doing a lot more exploring into their history, a lot more aware that something is missing, right? And have been putting forth an effort to go and search for those things. Get that in Job 8 and 8. Get that in Job 8 and 8. A lot of times with our people, when we get that urge, when something sparks our interest, we usually just kind of take on a renegade approach, right? I heard something, I learned something. Let me go look into this. Let me go look, this way and that way. We become real freelance in our approach to truth or our approach to knowledge. And it's important for brothers that have been putting that work in, that have been putting the effort to learn and to gain more understanding over the years, that when we get newcomers and when we get new people, on the same journey as us, that we have to be there to help and guide and assist them with that. Right. So as our people start to develop this desire to go and search and find knowledge, we know the direction that they have to go in. So we got to be able to point them in that direction and give them that leg up, give them that head start or that jump start, so to speak. You got that?
This is Job 8 and 8. It says, "For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age."
It says, "Inquire of the former age." One of the things that's missing in the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian lives is the former age, prior to us being brought over here as a Southern Kingdom and on cargo ships, and prior to the time that the so-called Northern Kingdom, Hispanic and Native Indians, of them coming over here to the Americas and occupying the land, and then suffering oppression and colonization, and prior history was stripped away from them. Why? Because it was an incentive for them to take that away from both of us, because if we had it, we recognized that we were brothers, as we did at a point in time, right? When they brought us over here, when the Northern Kingdom recognized and saw who we were, saw who our enemy was, we were actually working together. And they worked very hard to devise a plan and to divide us. This is important. So we have to inquire at a former age, prior to the American prior to us inhabiting the Americas, A lot of times that's all we go back to. We want to talk straight American history. Everybody say, "Oh, well, such and such was here before then. Such and such was here before then." Exactly. But there was not always people in this part of the land, the fourth part of the world. It was not always people here. So where did these people come from that did occupy this place, that was here before Columbus got here, that was here before the so-called Negroes were brought here? Inquire of the former age, read.
It says, "And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers."
And prepare yourself to the search of your fathers. That's another thing that's important when it comes to learning your history, trying to gain knowledge of self, take back your identity. Sometimes that might not even be the case. It just might just be rooted and based in knowledge. But once we let our people know what is missing, then they have a better opportunity to go and find what's missing. Okay? Some people might even remember that Boondocks episode, right? White dude, but he was, the voiceover was Samuel L. Jackson. Y'all Bashem Yashar Brak the brothers after 9, man. Always appreciate you out. The voiceover was by Samuel L. Jackson. He says, we have known knowns, right? Things that we're aware of, that we've uncovered, the knowledge that we do have. It's a known known. But then you also have known unknowns, things that you are aware of that's missing, that you can now go and look for answers for. But then we also have unknown unknowns, things that we are not aware of that we are missing. And that's important for a lot of our people. Those of us who have received the truth, those of us who have committed ourselves to the truth, we are aware of the things that our people are missing. So we've taken that approach and that knowledge and done the work to get those answers to then make our people aware of what they're missing, what they're lacking. We're lacking the knowledge of the former age. We're lacking knowledge of our fathers. We're lacking the knowledge of our God. We're lacking the knowledge of our culture and what is ours, not what's romanticized, not what's just not what just sounds good, not what's just gonna make you sound smart in any type of setting. What is ours? What was taken? And why is it so important for us to get it back? And it takes for us to do that work, man, to get as many as our people to realize this and to join this moment and to continue to take back who we are. They cannot stop us. The only thing that can stop us is us, which has been the number one culprit of stopping us this entire time that we've been on this roller coaster, this up and down of liberation and captivity throughout our history. You got some more on that? That was it on that. You got precept?
Yeah,
bring it
this
out.
Is 2 Timothy 4 from the top.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I charge thee, therefore, before God and the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who shall judge the quick.
Who shall judge the quick? Go ahead.
And the dead.
And the dead, right? The quick is those that are alive, right? Those who have come into the knowledge, that have received the word of God through a Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Those are the quick, those that are alive. And the dead, those who are outside of that knowledge, those who have fell away from that knowledge, and those who are still, haven't had the opportunity to regain that knowledge. That's where we come into play, right? Read.
It says, at his appearing in his kingdom, it says, preach the word.
And he's going to judge these people at his appearing of his coming, right? And he's telling us, preach the word. Go ahead.
I was reading into that earlier, right? Caruso, right? Or Caruso, meaning to make it public.
Mm-hmm.
So we go out to the highways and byways and we're making this judgment, right, as spiritual men, public.
You got to publicize the truth.
Right. And we always say, first and foremost, we come out here chiefly for our people, the so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native Indian, but also we are judging this nation. Because like you said, going into, what do you say? Salakia.
It's all good.
It ran past me that quick.
You had it, huh?
Right. But now going into making it our job and
all right.
in fulfilling the actions of actually going out here to the highways and byways and making it, a psyche type of thing.
Right.
And it would be our fault if we don't keep up going out to the highways and byways and bid it to the marriage, man. We are responsible.
We're responsible.
Right.
Real quick, it's like it really becomes your job. It really becomes your responsibility. The fate of our nation falls on your shoulders.
Oh.
It's like being a pallbearer. You know what I'm saying? Because we out here, we have to carry the dead.
Mm-hmm.
We have to carry the dead on our shoulders, man, until the spirit comes upon, that cadaver, that dead body, those dry bones, to rebuild them back up, assembling those bones together, giving them skin, sinews, flesh, and then clothing. If they don't have it, we got to be patient. And then we also have to do our part to keep them afloat. We can't allow the momentum, the overwhelming amount of our people, which is going to outnumber those who do receive it. That's what we have to realize. The number of people that receive this truth and that are quickened, right, that are made alive, is going to be less than the number of our people that's just going to disregard it and put it aside. But we still have to possess the strength to carry them, because it's all for the purpose of what? All Israel being saved. Go ahead.
This 2 Timothy 4:2, it says, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season.
Preach the word and be instant, in season, out of season. Everybody's watching how the how did that cushion get turned around like that? I distracted. Everybody's watching how the NBA season is coming to a close, right? And everybody who got real close to going to the next round, to be, where you're able to see the end you're able to see the finish line, but you got stopped right before. Most of those people who have that love and that drive for the game and for what they're due and their profession, their job, instantly went right back to the gym. I'm talking about we got to be instant during the season. We got to be instant in the off season. Because for us, this truth is year round. It has to be life. Right? Go ahead.
It says reprove.
Reprove.
Rebuke.
Rebuke.
It says exhort with all long suffering.
And exhort with long suffering. That's that patience. That's that patience I just talked about. We have to go out here and reprove, right? Which is to correct, right? You gotta rebuke, call people out on they wrongdoing. Get that in Isaiah 58. We gotta call our people out on their wrongdoing. We also have to exhort, because we have to be an encouraging spirit as well. Think about how that goes. You point something out. We just actually did that with that brother that walked up with his sister, man. Clean shaven. He sat there. The sister was a little clamorous, but he sat there and received the word. Clean shaven. We showed him about his beard. We reproved him. We rebuked him, right? But then we reproved him and showed him in the scriptures where the Lord says you have to keep your beard. He understood that. Then we encouraged the brother, letting him know that as long as you continue to violate these laws, statutes, and commandments, your enemy and your oppressor will continue to rule over you. And I asked him, I said, do you feel like your oppressor is better than you? He said, heck no. So then you pose that question. You instill and plant that seed into that brother's heart or his mind, as the scriptures say, and you show him how great he is over the man that's been ruling over him. It's just the little details, it's the fundamentals, it's the basics, the principles and oracles of the Most High that he's lacking. Once he takes that on, hey, we out of here, right? That's when you're going to, what they say, catapult. You're going to catapult into the stratosphere, to the top of the strata. We don't remember that one dude? Oh, what about, we don't like social stratification. Man, we love social stratification. That was ordained by the Most High God. And it's just the fact that we have not benefited and taken advantage of this social stratification that we then find ourselves having a problem with it. No, it's actually built and established for our favor. We just have not done the things that will make us worthy to be in that place. And that's what we got to come back into it. So we got to reprove, rebuke, and we have to exhort with long suffering, because the brother ain't going to always get it right then and there. Again, he was with a little clamorous little sister, which I think was his older sister, and she snatched him away. She snatched him away immediately as we was about to get into the spirit to explain it to that brother. Go ahead.
Isaiah 58:1, it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, read.
And show my people their transgression.
That's the reprove and that's the rebuke there.
And the preach, the caruso.
And it's the caruso, right? We have to show our people our transgression and lift our voices up like a trumpet. Not only to be loud, but to be something worthy to hear. As I've gotten older, man, I've gotten into jazz music, man. And it's crazy how my dad, for the longest, was trying to get me on jazz. And I was like, dude, this ain't got no beepity boppity boop in it. And I don't really want to hear it. But when you understand how, which is crazy because we're going into doing the work. And if you ever have been, had the privilege of viewing a live band and how all of these pieces come together. The drums is the drum. Go watch Michael Jackson's band. Go watch James Brown's band. Had a cold band. Parliament had a cold band. Mike used to come out, boom. You know, everybody go crazy. Mike do a good 30 minutes. Boom, he'll do it 30 minutes, and then he'll dip off, and then he'll let each member of his band get a solo before he comes back out. You see, they all work, they gel together. That's how the nation of Israel gonna gel together. That's how the nation of Israel has to work, and each component has to pull their weight and do what they're supposed to do. Right? Go ahead.
It says,
excuse me, I'm sorry. So saying all of that to say, when it says lift up your voice like a trumpet, it's not just to be loud and to be obnoxious, but it's to be a pleasant song. And we're going to bring a new song to the people. You going to get that? Yeah, if we can. We're going to be a new song in the ears and in the mouth of our people. That's the goal. That's the plan. We know what happens, man, when we see our people in Times Square and the brothers is on on the drums, or somebody's out there playing an instrument, or somebody's out there performing and singing in the subways, they generate a crowd. This word is going to be something pleasant to the ear of not just Israel. Guess what? Of all people. Because that's what happened when we cast out that broad net, right? Shalom to everybody tuning in right now, right? We going into just doing the work and all of the things that's necessary to bring our people into the knowledge, showing them that they got to, prepare the search of their forefathers. Look into the ancient times and where they come from. Cry aloud, spare not, reprove, rebuke, and exhort, which is to encourage our people. This is all of the stuff that we're going to do. And then once you understand the harmony, once you understand the melody, that's when the work becomes fun. It's not like you just, oh man, I gotta go to camp now. It becomes fun when you get to get around brothers that you built a relationship and a bond with, not only just with your personalities, but through the spirit and the goal that you guys have. It becomes fun, man. It's a melody. It's melodical. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
No, and to those that might, flip out when Cap say, it's also to these other nations, because we got to understand that with preaching the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the Most High, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, is things that goes back to the law. That we was going to be that wise and understanding people and so close to God amongst these nations.
That's right.
And furthermore, going into the eschaton.
That's right.
Dealing with when we are in our kingdom and in Mount Zion, these other nations, they're going to flow into us, man.
That's right.
And want to learn of the God of Jacob.
And that's the approach. We have to recognize that. There has been, and there still is, a stigma, an image of Hebrew Israelism where usually the appealing factor is how much we rebuke and we reprove the other nations. I recognize that that's a marketing, tactic to get our people to kind of be like, yo, it's a shock factor. It's a shock factor. It's provocative. I get it. But when you get into the scripture, then it speaks about that you have to be fishers of men. Chief told me about this. I told myself, I said, man, I ain't never fished before. And in my mind, being fishers of men is casting your reel out. You're doing a perfect cast like an extremely goofy movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You do the whole perfect cast, you cast it out, you sit there, you're long suffering with the fish, which is patience, and then you reel it in one by one. Chief pointed out to me, he says, bro, we used to cast out a net. And when you cast out a net to fish, you bring in both what? Clean and unclean fish. And the benefit of bringing in clean and unclean fish is that you have it right here in your face, the difference between the two. That's the power in doing this work. People always want to sit up here and talk about, oh, you guys are so hateful. From doing this work, I've developed the discernment you read about in Hebrews. You exercise your senses, you develop this discernment, and guess what? Every time we go out to do this work, we have the opportunity to see clean and unclean fish right in front of us. Bring it out.
This is Leviticus 20, starting at verse 22. It says, ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and my judgments and do them, that the land, whether I bring you to dwell therein, spew you not out. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation.
You shall not walk in the manner of the nations. Go ahead.
Which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them.
I abhorred them, right? The Lord despised them for the ways and the works that they were performing. Go ahead.
It says, but I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land. I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am Yahweh your God, which have separated you from other people.
That's right.
Verse 25.
Listen, who the Lord has separated us from other people, right? So he's the context that the brother is showing you is dealing with these nations, their behavior, what they're doing, and how the Lord separate us or sever. He cut us off from being a part of that. This is when the Lord made us holy, because the word holy means to be separate. Go ahead.
And also going into the analogy of casting a net.
That's
and
right.
Bringing in the clean fish and the unclean
That's
fish.
right.
The Most High told us to be fishers of men. He makes us fishers of men, right? Yahushua told us to go out and preach it to the lost sheep of the house of Israel that the kingdom of God is at hand. And that we're gonna preach amongst the Gentiles. Go into all the nations and preach amongst the Gentiles, because our people is within that pond, that lake, that sea, that ocean that we're casting the net out to.
I want to bring those scriptures out too. So
right in verse 25, it says, ye shall therefore put difference.
So therefore, right, as you're amongst these nations, as I recognize I've severed you from those nations, right? When you recognize their behavior, put a difference. Go ahead.
Between clean beasts.
Between clean beasts. Go ahead.
And unclean.
And unclean, which what?
It says, in between unclean fowls.
And the fowls, go ahead.
And clean, and ye shall not make your souls abominable by beast.
It says, don't make your souls abominable by the beast, the unclean beast, the unclean fowl, the unclean fish. Right? Read.
It says, or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean.
Which the Lord has separated from us unclean. So even though we're going to preach this word and cast out this broad net and bring all of these people in, a lot of times people get thrown off to say, well, see, they understand the word. They understand the truth. They're accepting the truth. They might be Jake. No. No. Could have been a way that you explained it to them. If you tell, I remember I was saying this the other day, bro. If you went to Esau and just showed him how he's Esau without telling him about his fate and the judgment that Esau has, what's going to stop him from receiving that the same way we received that, we Israelites? Break it down to an Israelite and show them the prophecies that their life and their nation pertains to. Don't tell them the blessings that they have coming. Don't tell them about, all the greatness and how God loves them above all people. Don't tell them that. Just break it down. Say, you ain't got your history. This is how we recognize who you are. This is how we're going to prove it. You fit the curses. Ain't you going through this? Ain't you going through that? We go to Genesis 49. Didn't this happen to you? Can't you recognize that this pertains to you and your people? Don't tell them the curses. Don't tell them the blessings. You do the same thing to Esau. What stops them from receiving it? Usually what turns Esau off is that you start telling them how God hates them. Hey, you were Edomite, and you go to Genesis 25, you go to Job 9:24, you start going all these different things. You start showing them how he's wicked. You start showing them how he's the devil. You start showing them how God hates him. You start showing them what he did to Jacob. Then you start telling him what the Most High is going to do to him for what he did to Jacob. You're going to start showing him what the Most High is going to do to him for being Esau before he was born, but neither having done any good or evil. You start breaking that stuff down to them. That's when they say, man, I don't want to hear that. But if you just speak facts and truth, just tell them who they are. You ain't got to slander him. You got to tear him down. You ain't got to dim his light to make yours shine brighter. He's going to receive it. And then you say, and then at that point, let him go find it, or then you can reveal it to him. Hey, you are the dog that sits below the table that can only hope for the crumbs. Go ahead.
Because you can even go into telling these that like making that point, you can even go into telling these nations who they are, where they come from, and that serving the Most High is greater than serving the deities that they serve. Not to even bash their God, but to say, since you believe in the Most High and you conduct yourself in such a manner, I mean, we already understand, like Kev said, we know the judgments. We know the Most High hates them, right? But they'll understand that they one day might have to be used as a vessel.
They one day might have to be used as a vessel, and they one day will bow down unto the Most High God. So,
and it's all a practice too.
It's all a practice.
We are here like rehearsing the righteous acts. If we call ourselves kings and priests, we have to make these other nations look at us as such. Because of course we start in-house, and us as each other, we don't even look at each other as brothers, let alone kings and priests. So why not make these other nations look at us as such to get this ball rolling on what's to come? Because they're going to come flowing unto us anyway. they're gonna come bringing gold and silver unto us anyway.
And here's the thing too. As what the brother is saying is, you start to carry yourself as the kings of the earth. The kings of the earth don't need enemies. You don't need people sitting here mad and hateful towards you. And this, I'm gonna tell you this. I want this to be clear. I don't have a problem with cursing the heathen out. I don't have a problem with rebuking the heathen. I ain't got a problem. I do it. All I'm saying is that when we cast out this net to be fishers of men, we're gonna bring a lot of people in. And that message will appeal to all people. It's just when you gather that net and you see the clean fish and the unclean, what would you do if you were actually fishing? You'd keep the clean fish and you throw the other ones back. And you ain't gotta sit up here, and take the fish and dump it and smack their head against the edge of the boat and then throw them out. Nah. You just say, hey, go back to being unclean. You know what I'm saying? Go back to cleaning the pond or the river or the body of water that you just caught them in. And guess what? Allow them to go do their job, and it's gonna make everything else clean. It's gonna stop. It's gonna stop this water from smelling like the Pacific Ocean. Come to San Diego, come to California, go smell the Pacific Ocean. That's what happens when you take all the the unclean fish out, and they can't do their job. So again, it's no knock to anybody that does do it, but as you grow, I heard General Muhammad say this. He said, as you grow up, as you mature in this truth, you're gonna start recognizing how the newer brothers, the younger, fiery brothers, beautiful brothers, that they gonna come in and they gonna be on that F this and you're gonna die and you're a demon and you got a missile. But then your approach and your deliverance of the message is gonna be straight to the point. It's gonna be met with facts, and it's gonna be something that everybody can receive. I remember I sat here and broke it down to this damn Amalekite woman one day, how she was not real and she was an imposter. And she was trying to get my number afterwards. I mean, just accepted it. Like, damn, you're right. So what are you doing after this? You want coffee? Froyo? Give me a little froyo. You can tell me more about how I'm a devil. Go ahead.
Back in Isaiah 58:1, it says, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression."
And we have to show our people where they're going off and where they're wrong. And then we also have to balance and couple it with the exhortation, showing them what they can do correctly, and then encouraging them to know that it's possible. Because when we start telling our people all of these things that they have to do, it's encouraging and telling them that they have to fight against the system and the standard that's put in place that compromises their integrity to follow the Most High God. Don't worry about that, brother. Don't worry about that, sister. Be willing to sacrifice for the Most High God. Be willing to be a martyr for the Most High God. Stand firmly and boldly on the law, statutes, and commandments in his word, and then he will reward thee openly, as he has done plenty of times for the brothers that have done it. Go ahead.
It says, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins.
And the house of Jacob their sins. Because guess what? You also have to remind them that a deliverer was promised to come out of Jacob to take away ungodliness and sinful nature away from Jacob and Israel, right? Go ahead.
This is Revelation 5, and starting at I'll start at 7. It says, "And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors."
It says, have every one of them harps. They were out there ready to go and perform for the people. Real quick.
Yeah, they're going to perform for Yahushua.
Well,
yeah.
Excuse me, Yahushua. But I'm going to show you this.
Yeah.
We read about trumpets. We read about harps. Think about a musician. Think anybody that you know or anybody that you've ever heard about, watched, read about. Think about how a musician cherishes his instrument. Think about how it's just, whenever he's sad, he go play his guitar. He go play his guitar. Whenever he's just stressed, he goes and gets on his keys. Whenever he's got a performance coming up, He's practicing. He's practicing. Because when the time comes and he hits the stage, he wants to sound fluid. He wants to sound flawless. We gotta be that psyched out in our mind for this word. That any given time, we have an opportunity to perform the song of the Most High. We can be prepared and we can be ready. We always want to give a good performance, especially when you're going to be performing in front of your house shy. You don't want to be over here off beat, off key, off note. Read.
It says, and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. It says, and they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred.
Yahweh Shai is worthy, and he's redeemed us by his blood to bring us back unto the Most High God. Go ahead.
It says, by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our God.
Watch this. Out of every kindred, out of every nation, out of every tongue. Not people love taking this. And this is something I want to point out. There's things that I see Christians do, or non-Israelite theologians and so-called scholars. What they do is they try and utilize a verse, and then they'll convey the message to you as if the only thing it could mean, every nation, kindred, and tongue. See, that can only mean that it's for the Gentiles. No. Like, let's be fair. Let's be just across the board. It does not have to only mean that. Could it? I'm going to give it to you. You want to know why we can do stuff like give Christians little things like that? We can give it to them. You want to know why? Because the same reason why Gervonta Tank Davis was able to give Rowley 6 rounds, according to Rowley. According to Rowley, he won 6 rounds. We'll give it to Rowley. Who cares? You got knocked out in the 6th. A Christian cannot last. Don't try to go for the 1-round knockout. Everybody is not Chief and Deacon. Chief and Deacon is Mike Tyson and who's another knockout artist? And I ain't gonna say Deontay Wilder because I mean he's cold, but Julian. Oh, that cold. Oh, Julian. Everybody ain't ready for the one punch knockout. Everybody not Gervonta Tank Davis. It's okay to be Floyd Mayweather, to recognize this is a 12-round bout. I'll let you have 4 or 5 rounds and then take the next 7 as you gas out. That's what Christians do. Christians are going to gas out. Just keep them just. Keep them fair across the board. Every nation, kindred, and tongue does not automatically, the only way we can take it is it has to be the other nations. No, because we have so many different prophecies saying that we will be in the midst of the other nations. So many different prophecies that say that. So as we become fishers of men and we bring that net in, we draw the net in, we're able to examine and look at it. The scales on this fish is a lot smaller than the scales will be on this fish. So at a quick glance, it might not look like this person is clean. But upon further examination, there the scales are, there the fins are. This brother is clean, or this sister is clean. We now embrace them. Then sometimes it might look like, oh, they got skin. Oh, no, that's not a skin. What is that? That's something different. That's some sort of exoskeleton, exoskeleton. That's not a skin. Okay, cast them back. Right? Or they don't have any fins. Okay, cast them back. We have to be able to examine these things, and we have to have discernment to do so. Don't be so quick to knock somebody out. So when a brother reads that, a Christian will say, see, every nation, kindred, tongue. And you just tell them, be patient. Don't worry about it. It's the first round. It's okay. Well, that's okay. Well, listen, I'm not going to make that verse mean what I want it to be. I'm not going to allow you to make that verse be what you want it to be. Let's say, according to the prophecies, We can't rule that out. But you are pointing out that, okay, well, there's every nation, kindred, and tongue. Okay, cool. So let's keep it even. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Because your understanding ain't gonna last in these scriptures, in a being sola scriptura. Read.
And what's crazy is that they would come up with that concept after reading where it says, and has redeemed us to God by thy blood.
Watch this. And has redeemed us. Now we start getting into the details. Now, and this is one thing that I pointed out to the brother, to the priest when we was watching the fight. I kept saying, I said, man, this dude Rolly he's on steroids. I said, Rolly's on steroids, man. He came out there at 135 pounds, shredded like that. What? I'm sitting there like, man, Tank need to figure it out. I don't know what he gonna do, bro. And I seen Tank. This is what he did, because Tank is southpaw. So I seen Tank. He's sitting there. He's just trying to figure him out, and he tucks up. He leans into Rolly and he pivots out. I said, ooh. He just went to the fundamentals and the basics on him. Rolly think he gonna come out here. He tried to power him up. He kept trying to snatch him up, sling him around, and try to invoke his power and his strength on him. And Javante said, I'm not tripping, bro. This is 12 rounds. You're gonna have to do this to me for 12 rounds. And at that point, if that man can last 12 rounds and perform at that level, and he beats you, what can you do? It's like playing good defense on somebody. Everybody playing good defense on Steph. You get a hand in his face. You didn't let him get much space, but this man is just such a sharpshooter. It really don't matter. If you let him get it over you, it's going in. There's nothing you can do. But guess what? How many Steph Currys is there out there? And how many Steph Curry heathens are there? None. Zero. This is a 12-round bout. Don't worry about it. So when I seen Tank just kind of get back to his fundamentals and just, get into that rhythm and get into that groove. We was talking about the melody earlier. We were talking about the harps. We were talking about the trumpets. We talked about the psalteries and the subbutts. All of those different things in the scriptures. It's that harmony, man. Get into your groove and shut these false doctrines down. It's gonna be easy. You just gotta put the same time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into this craft as you see a boxer does, as you see a Steph Curry does, and as you see a Miles Davis, a Dr. Dre, all of these different beautiful musicians. When you see them and you can respect their work, that's the same approach you got to do. Go and just watch and witness greatness and see what they put into it to get great like that and to get that level of respect. And you take that same thing and put it into these scriptures. They can't mess with you after that. That's what the men of the Most High have been doing. That's what we read in these scriptures the men of the Most High did. They put their whole life aside to go and serve and follow and study and learn about the Most High God, and then go encourage others to do the same. That's what we have to do. Go ahead.
Listen, and the apostles and the disciples, they also preached in season and out of season. But what they also did with, before doing that was exercising their senses. Mm-hmm. You're gonna practice on your craft. You're gonna go studying. You're gonna go learn the Hebrew, learn the Greek, artifacts, etc. But then you have to go and actually do it. You gotta go do it. You have to actually go and exercise them senses against opponents, against naysayers, against gainsayers. You feel me? So it's not just
that's a great point,
sitting
bro.
on the couch and all this knowledge, then you're hiding your talent.
You hiding your talents.
And Yahweh Shai told you not to do that.
And that's why you was talking about it earlier, to preach it publicly. Yeah. It's got to be a public thing. Mm-hmm. Don't just hide it. Remember, what was that? Remember, was that Step Brothers?
Yeah.
He's like, Brendan actually has a really beautiful voice.
Yeah.
This dude just, of course he didn't. But according to mine, he got a beautiful voice and he just hides it. And then you got to go and show it and spread your wings like a peacock, man, and fly. Go ahead.
Con, it says, right where it says, and has redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, mm-hmm. and has made us unto our God kings and priests.
And he have made us, read that part again.
It says, and has made us unto our God.
He's made us unto our God. Go ahead.
Kings and priests.
Kings and priests. Get that in Peter. 1 Peter 2:9 real quick. You see how at first it seemed like, Cap, what are you doing? You're gonna give them a leg up and try to not cut them on this point right here, and then go into the Hebrew and go into the Greek and show that it's actually talking about the nation of Israel? We can. That's an option. You see how we got options? We'll skin that cat so many different ways, man. We don't have to get them there. Sometimes you got to let the play fully develop so that you can show our people that's listening in, it's not just one way. Any way, any angle you want to approach these scriptures, it's showing you Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are Israelites. God's chosen people. Salvation is only for them, and they will be raised up to be the kings and the priests that we're going to see in the kingdom, performing the duties of God and ruling and reigning in his kingdom. Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, but ye are a chosen generation.
You are a chosen generation. Go ahead.
A royal priesthood.
A royal priesthood.
And holy nation.
And a holy nation.
A peculiar people.
And a peculiar people.
That ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
And he's called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Then by the time, so this is what Peter said, the man that walked with Christ, the man who Christ handed the keys of the nation off to, and then when we get the revelation, now all of a sudden it's changed. That doesn't sound like Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Sounds like he's a new dude. Get that back in Revelation, unless you got something else.
That was it. It says, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
And we will reign on the earth. That's what we are out here searching and working so hard for. That's what the work is to accomplish. Getting back to a place to be the kings, the priests, and the rulers of this earth. If you do not want that, then it's a serious chance that you might be a part of that number that's going to outweigh or outnumber those that do believe, that are quickened. You might be a part of that dead. That's 66.6%, which we recognize as a 2/3. You don't want to be a part of the 2/3. So we got to make an effort. But at the same time, those of us who are striving to not be a part of that 66.6%, we definitely got to present something in a way for our people to receive. You have to have discernment. You got to know how to examine and read a person. And all of that comes from, like the brother just said, not only just reading it and learning, but getting out there and doing it. Funny thing, man, we had the new moon feast last night. So afterwards, we just, sitting around kicking it. And I throw the question out there. I asked one brother, I said, can you defend the Northern Kingdom? And everybody kind of, a lot of times, man, where somebody that you look up to or you respect and they ask you a question, you get a little hesitant, you get a little clenched up, right? Can you defend the Northern Kingdom? And they're like, so they think they got to go some extra way. It's like, no, keep it simple, right? As I'm asking brothers, they had not mastered just getting straight to the point to say, we all fit these curses. I don't really got to go into no document. I ain't really got to go into no extra biblical source. The same thing I'm going to go into the show I'm an Israelite. There's the same thing I'm going to go into the show that the Northern Kingdom is Israelites. Because we go through the same things. But as you're showing brothers this, they don't fully understand it because they haven't exercised that sense yet. So this is stuff you're going to realize. But as I'm asking them this, you got the priest over here. And I told priest, I said, no, priest, you go last. Because that brother's exercised his sense. He's developed that rhythm, man. It's a comfortability. It's a groove you get in. This is why you see the musical reference of the word of God in the scriptures. That's why it's a musical reference, because when you master it, you get into a groove, it becomes fun, and it becomes so addicting. Not only for you to teach people, but for people to hear. And everybody that tunes into our classes every single time, every single day, every single week, you understand what I'm talking about. That addiction. It's a lovely song. And we perfecting the melody of it. Go ahead.
Back in 2 Timothy 4 and 2, it says, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
Real quick, it says be long suffering in doctrine. And doctrine, because you can't, the same way you can't abandon a brother or sister that's hanging on, or you know that's your brother, you know they're Israelites, and you trying to deal with them. Be long suffering with them, and then don't try to abandon the doctrine either. Be long suffering with the doctrine. Sure, trust me, it'll work itself out. I don't know if the brother was serious, but it's a scoffer, man. It's a brother we've been going up against, man, for years. Came up to us at camp and said, hey, man, I surrender. I confess, I surrender. I want to be under Sakari. I listen, y'all got the truth. He was a Christian apologist, and we just say all praise to the Most High. Even if he was joking, he didn't turn around and say, psych, I'm playing, or whatever. Even if his mind is moving in that direction, we just praise the Most High for that. We have to be long-suffering with the doctrine. We got to stay diligent to the cause. You know what the truth is. You know what the truth is. Continue to exercise, man. The Lord is going to continue to reveal things to you. Go ahead.
God, and the thing was, even at that camp, when that brother came up and was saying that, you had two more brothers saying that the doctrine that we was going with, which is, of course, the doctrine we go with is the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High God.
That's right.
That's right. They was telling us that we're the truth.
That's right.
And I kept trying to tell these brothers, I said, listen, brother, we are not the truth. The words of the Most High is the truth. We're just being used as vessels, man.
That's right.
And Lord willing, y'all can go out and do the same thing that we doing. Be a singer. That's what I was saying that for like the past couple of weeks.
Be a singer, yeah.
Be a singer, man. Enthusiastic, an entertainer. Draw. You have to have a talent to draw the crowd, man.
And that's right.
And you got to get out of your cocoon, man, to do that. You can't stay hidden, and that comes with exercising your senses, man.
That performer, man.
Yeah.
This is why, like, when a lot of times when you see a rapper come up and they getting a lot of buzz, and you like, this dude suck. Yeah. Because a lot of times when you're a music enthusiast, you're listening to the lyrics. You're listening to this. A lot of times, man, a dude will get signed just because he could put on a show. He got energy behind him. He makes you believe in what it is that he's talking about, whether he can structure it phenomenally or not. You got to take all of these things in consideration, man. And it just comes like the brother said, man, from doing the work, exercising that sense. Go ahead.
Con, it says, verse 3 in 2 Timothy 4, it says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers.
After their own lusts, they will heap to themselves teachers, meaning what? They're going to go and look for somebody that's talk about what they want. That's going to be pleasing to their ears, right? It heaps to themselves teachers and what?
It says
having what?
Having itching ears.
Having itching ears. I want to go find somebody that's talking about what I'm talking about. They're not going to examine the truth. They're not going to try, test, and prove this truth or prove the information. They're going to just cast it behind them, and then they're going to go and try to find what sounds good to them. Take the truth, according to 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things, which is to test and to scrutinize, and then you hold fast to that which is good. We had a brother coming here Friday night. He's learning from one camp, him and his wife. And now him and his wife are having a bit of a divide because she wants to stay with the camp they've been learning from. And then the other brother is kind of like he's trying and testing the information. And he's saying, man, I can't necessarily say that I'm feeling the information, and I don't believe that it's as sound as maybe the wife feels like it. But the wife is more so caught up on how good it's making her feel. She's not taking this information and trying and testing and proving it, right? So you'll see things like this happening. Upon utilization, upon exercise, upon doing the work, the Lord will take you by the collar and he'll guide you in whatever direction he wants you to go in. Lord willing, it's in the direction of truth. And that's what we all can hope for. Go ahead.
And listen, that's what I was telling the soldier the other night, man. You know, a lot of our people, they have those itching ears. They want to be like the sister, whether they're Black, Hispanic, Native Indian, that you coming up to talk to, where she wants to hear everything. I to talk about in life
Yep.
that she wants to hear. She wants you to tell her all the things she wants to hear.
Mhm.
But you got to understand, as a man of the Lord, this truth. When this truth comes, there's going to be certain things that within, going into the Hebrew, going into the Greek, going into prophecy, that might not sit well. But if it's thus saith the Lord, and we're showing A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, I mean, are we therefore become your enemy because we tell you the truth? Yahweh Shai say, know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. But our people want to be stuck in these shambles, man, and wanting to hear nothing but the good things, deceitful things, soothsayings, as they say.
That's right. Soothsaying. Being able, like I said, to just tell you something that just motivates you and encourages you. And a lot of times we, use that as the indicator of what truth is. Mm-mm. The truth can be so detrimental to you. To your mood. The truth can be detrimental to your mood. You see what I'm saying? The truth could sit up there and just shut you down. The truth, especially when you're fighting against the truth. The truth I'm talking about the truth can put you on your behind and have you down and out, especially when you're rejecting it. But it's only when you stop fighting, you stop the pushback, and you allow the spirit to enter in, and then you move through the spirit, not on your own accord, right? Go ahead.
On 2 Timothy 4:4, it says, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned into fables.
You don't want to turn your ear away from the truth, and you want to listen to fables. You want to listen to bedtime stories, night stories. You know what I'm saying? Paul, can you tell me about that time that you wrestled the dragon and you cut his head off at the end? I love hearing that story, Paul. You're so strong, Paul. I want to grow up and fight dragons like you, Paul. Not knowing that Paul was getting bullied all his whole life. Yeah, listen, mom is over there beating up on Paul. Go ahead.
This is Matthew 11 and starting at 13.
That's right.
It says, for all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you will receive it, this is Elias, which was for to come.
Mm-hmm.
And he that hath ears to hear, let him hear.
Read.
But whereunto shall I liken this generation?
Whereunto shall I liken this generation, right? Listen up if you got an ear to hear this. Read.
It said, it is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you.
It's like men sitting in the market piping, right? Singing or performing for their fellows. Mm-hmm. And then what?
It says, and ye have not danced.
And ye have not danced. What are we? You don't like my music? You don't like what I'm playing? This is a stone cold groove right here. This is pure funk right here. How do you not bob your head to what I'm saying? Read. But this is what the Lord is saying. He's likening this scenario unto the generation of the people that we're talking to. Realize what the Lord is telling you before you go out here and do this work and get frustrated with how people respond to you. They've been doing this. Go ahead.
It says, in saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced.
Mm-hmm.
We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented.
We've mourned, and you have not lamented. When I'm telling you how great you are, you don't want to receive that. But then when I'm showing you all of the stuff that you are experiencing, the stuff that you should be mourning and not laughing and in your mirth about, you don't even want to mourn with me. So you still got to sit here and figure out a way to relate to our people, because trust and believe, they're going through it. We develop this Stockholm syndrome, and we develop these vices that distracts us from the reality that we're going through. We have to figure out a way to educate, which is to draw from within, bring out that hurt and that pain that we're dealing with, and showcase a better tomorrow, showcase a better opportunity, right? But also recognize you're just dealing with a rebellious, hard-headed, stiff-necked generation that does not want to dance to your music and that does not want to mourn with you. But there are somebody out there that will. And we can also learn this from the artists today. You got so many people that will hate on so many artists, yet there's millions of people out there making them rich that will support. We do have supporters out here, man. First and foremost, you guys are the supporters for even tuning into the video right now, to the live streams, liking, sharing, subscribing. We appreciate y'all. So as there are you guys out there are more out there as well, seeking and searching and in need for y'all, right? The reach and the way in which you are connected and how close you are to them. They need you just as much as you guys would look and to need us. Go ahead.
This is
Bring it on. We got 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll get to the point. Isaiah 30:29 says, "Ye shall have a song, as in the night when in holy solemnity is kept, in gladness of heart."
You're gonna have a song in the night when it says the solemnity, right? Where people are serious, where we are assembling and we are coming together. You're gonna have a song. Go ahead.
It says, as when one goeth with a pipe to come into the mountain of Yahweh, to the Almighty One of Israel, and Yahweh shall cause his glorious voice to be heard, and shall show the lightning down of his arm with the indignation of his anger, and with the flame of a devouring fire, with scattering and tempest and hailstones. It says, for through the voice of Yahweh shall the Assyrian be beaten down, which smote with the rod. Right? And this goes into like what you said earlier. We are held responsible for bringing this nation down, man. For every kingdom that has fallen, the prophets of the Lord have been responsible for that. And we always ask these questions to our soldiers to make them understand that the voice of the Most High is us.
That's right.
It's the prophets that he put out there according to his own heart.
Jeremiah 19:15.
Come on. I was just about to go there too.
You got it?
You don't want Jeremiah 5:14, where it says, because you speak this word, behold,
yes.
make my words.
Get 19 and 15 first, because it talks about the destruction of the Most High as well. Okay. So let's get 19:15 to show that we are his mouth, and then how we're going to bring the destruction through this word as well. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 19:15. It says, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring upon this city and upon all her towns all the evil.
That's 19:15? It might be 15:19.
So like that one was a good one to do. Yeah.
Because you speak this word, return unto me, separate the vile from the precious.
Yeah, this is Jeremiah 15:19. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, if thou return, then will I bring thee again. When you return unto the Most High, he'll bring us back into his bosom. He'll bring us back into that land that we read about earlier that he was going to give unto us, flowing with milk and honey. Go ahead. And thou shalt stand before me. And if thou take forth the precious from the vile. If we take forth the precious that are amongst the vile, doing the work, separating the clean from unclean, and not making our souls abominable by beast, fowl, or any creeping thing on the earth. Read. Thou shalt be as my mouth. We become the mouth of God. So when the brother read it earlier, it says, and you shall hear from the voice of the Most High. He's telling us when we do this work, separate precious from vile, clean from unclean, we will be as his mouth. Go ahead. Let them return unto thee. Let those people return unto God. But what? But return not thou unto them. Don't go backwards. Don't go and let them be the influence and the gravitational magnetic pull to them. You be that pull and bring them back into the Most High God. Now get 5 and 14. We got a minute. Go ahead. All right, I'll start at 13. Jeremiah 5 and 13. And the prophets shall become wind, and the word is not in them. It says, thus shall it be done unto them. Wherefore, thus saith Yahweh, God of hosts, because ye speak this word. Because ye speak this word, read. Behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire. The words in our mouth will be made fire by the Most High God. Go ahead. And this people wood. And the people that we talk to are going to be wood. Read. And it shall devour them. And it's going to devour them. The same way Yahweh Shai came and devoured the temple. We're going to devour these people. And then, if it be possible, through the Spirit, we'll build them back up. But we have to cut down all of the filth, all of the gook, all of that old cottage with the cucumber that have just consumed and destroyed it. Tear that down. And then we're going to build that person back up. That's the exhortation. Reprove, rebuke, and exhort with long suffering. Go ahead. What you got? Hebrews 4 and 11. That's right. It says, let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest. Enter into that rest. Let us labor to enter in. Because we're not going to get rest
We're not even going to recognize how beautiful rest is unless you go and put that labor in. But hey, you know, when you don't put a hard day's work in, it feels beautiful to come home, kick your feet up, and relax, and to be tended to tenderly. Go ahead.
It says, lest any man fall after the same example.
Unless any man fall after the same example, go ahead.
Of unbelief.
Of the unbelief. And we see what that's happened and what that's done to us. Go ahead.
It says, for the word of God.
For the word of the Most High is what?
Quick.
It's quick. It's alive. Read.
And powerful.
And it's powerful.
And sharper than any two-edged sword.
And it's sharp. Cutting to the heart. Breaking down, reproving and rebuking, and also looking for what? That broken and contrite spirit, who the Lord's going to receive. Go ahead.
It says, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints, like you were talking about the sinews, the bones.
Listen, it says it pierces. It hits you everywhere. Like I said, it'll sit you down. Read.
And of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of
in the joints and in the marrow, those dry bones. And that's how we're going to be able to be assembled back together. Try to put some bones back together and don't have the cartilage there. Don't have the joints there. Don't have all of the different inner workings, the nerves, all of that. We got to bring all of those things back. Those nerves is what allows us to feel. That's why it says, excuse me, I was going not the scriptures. Malcolm X said it. When we develop and that flesh comes back on us and those nerves, it says when you touch one of us, you touched all of us. We've been desensitized to that. Our nerves have been affected for that. We got nerve damage spiritually. Go ahead.
It says, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
And then the spirit is a discerner of the thoughts of the heart, right? And which is dealing with our mind. And as our mind is, so the words we will speak, which is why we have to constantly meditate on the laws, statutes, and commandments day and night. I want to end it with Matthew 22 and 9. I know Chief gonna hit me soon. Listen, we ain't got kicked off yet, Chief. You're gonna have to come kick me off, brother. I will obey your command, but you gotta command me, brother. Bring it out.
Matthew 22:9. It says, go ye therefore into the highways.
Go ye therefore into the highways. Read.
And as many as ye shall find.
Go into the highways, go into the hedges, go into the streets, go into the chief place of concourse. And as many as ye shall find, go ahead.
Bid to the marriage.
Go and bid unto the marriage. Go and let's feel this wedding that's gonna bind and bring us back together. Right? Bid to that marriage. You got something?
Yeah, this is Luke 12, 40. I started 37. Or 35. Let your loins be girded about, and your lights burning. And it says, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching.
Blessed are the servants that when the Lord comes, he finds his servants watching. We got to be watchmen. That's Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. Not only to bring warning unto the people, but to just present yourself properly without spot and blame when the deliverer comes and when he returns. When the bridegroom returns. Read.
It says, verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them sit down to meat, and will come forth and serve them. And if he come in the 2nd watch, or come in the 3rd watch, and find them so, blessed are those servants. It says, and this know, that if the good man of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched.
If he had known, he would have watched. No man knows the time or the hour. So you watch every minute, every hour, every day. And you just be prepared for the coming and the return of who the world ignorant calls Jesus Christ, your name Yahushai, sent by the Most High God, Yahweh. Go ahead.
Khan, it says, and have not suffered his house to be broken through. It says, be ye therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not. It says, then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all? And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward?
Go into that. Okay, real quick. Where you at?
I'm in Luke 12:42. Right, because that's even going into 1 Corinthians 4, where Paul says this. Just verse 1. It says, 1 Corinthians 4:1, let a man so account of us as of the ministers of Hamashiach and stewards of the mysteries of God. It says, moreover, it is
Luke what?
Luke 12:42. It says, moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful.
Man be found faithful.
Right, and that's faithful unto this work.
Hey, listen, and what is it? And tell me that doesn't take an ultimate level of faith to be sitting here watching for something that you don't even know when or what time, day, or hour that is going to come. The same way y'all used to sit around here waiting for your daddy to come and to pull up is the same way we got to sit up here and wait on our Heavenly Father to send His only begotten Son. That's what we are here for. Faithful stewards. Share my screen real quick. Damn, it's gonna make me it's gonna make me quit later. It's gonna make me it's gonna make me close my browser out and reopen it. But you know, for next time we'll be able to share our screen so I can show you that. But let's just get into that word for steward, just so we understand it, man, and bring some
steward. The
wise steward, right? In the word steward, it says the manager of household or of household affairs. It says a steward, manager, superintendent, whether freeborn or, as was usually the case, a freedman or a slave to whom the head of the household or proprietor has entrusted the management of his affairs, the care of receipts and expenditures, and the duty of dealing out of the proper portion to every servant and even to the children not yet of age. That's the biblical usage. Let's go down. An employee in the capacity, by extension, a fiscal agent or like a treasurer, right? A preacher of the gospel, a chamberlain, governor, steward. You have to be a wise superintendent, preacher, steward of the word. These things are important for us.
They say that in Romans 10, it says, verse 10 and 14, right? How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe on him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher?
How shall they hear without a preacher? This is how important you are. Our people need to call upon the name of the Lord to be saved. But the only way they're going to be saved is if they hear about this God. And the only way they hear about this God is through a preacher, which is a wise steward, as you're commanded to be.
And in verse 15 it says, how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things.
And preach glad tidings and bring good things. How beautiful are those feet? Your feet be looking like Shaq feet because you're constantly on the move, looking like Kevin Durant's feet, just worn out. You know. You got anything else?
Yeah,
bring it out
quickly. Luke 14, starting at 16. Then said he unto him, a certain man made a great supper and bade many, and sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, come, for all things are now ready. And they all with one consent began to make excuse. The first said unto him,
and we got a lot of people that got excuses. He said, come, let's go, be ready. And the first one had an excuse. What did he say?
I bought a piece of ground.
I got this property that I got to go look at. I got this house, man. You know, I'm in real estate now, man. You know, because real estate's popping right now. You got to be willing to put those things aside, or you got to be willing to put those things second to serve the Most High first. Go ahead.
And I must needs go and see it.
If you're going to put a house, land, property, or any type of business before the work of the Most High God, who the world ignorantly calls Christ, real name Yahushua, said, you are making excuses. And the 13th stone, when you join the sect of the Sicarii, a soldier of God makes no excuses. Yeah. Go ahead.
It says, I pray thee have me excused. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee have me excused.
All of these assets, I got these assets that I just bought. I gotta go check this out. I'm flipping cars now. You know what I'm saying? I bought 5 assets. I gotta go and see what's going on with them. You're making excuses. Read.
It says, and another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come.
Come on, God. I mean, it's my sugar pie honey dumpling, man. It's my boo thing. This is my butterfly. I gotta go see what's up with my gal. I gotta get this $70 to my girl, dog. The Lord said you're making excuses. A soldier of the Most High don't make excuses. There is nothing that should separate you from the love of the Most High God, from the service of the Most High God, from the obedience of the Most High God. And you're commanded to go out into the highways, into the hedges, and bid to the marriage. Go ahead.
Verse 21, it says, so that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets.
Go out quickly into the streets.
And lanes of the city.
And then the lanes of the city, right? Listen, I run into people all the time at the grocery store. I run into people all the time at the gas station. I had just ran into somebody the other day, man. I was, I had to go into the H&R block to file my taxes. And I was talking to them. Read that part again.
It says, so that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets.
Go out quickly in the streets. Go ahead.
And lanes of the city.
And in the lanes of the city. Read.
It says, and bring in hither.
And bring in hither. Go ahead.
The poor.
The poor.
And the main.
And the main.
And the halt.
And the halt.
And the blind.
And the blind.
And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded.
It's done as thou hast commanded. Stop trying to sit here and feel like you're doing the work because you incorporated doing the work into your everyday errands that you're running. No. I gotta go to Walmart today. Let me put my ZTs and my fringes on, and hopefully somebody asks me about it so I can tell them about the truth. Come on, man. No, you have to leave your house, go out quickly, get out, hey, get up and get out quickly, with the intention and the express purpose of being out in the street and to be a source to bring our people into this marriage and the marvelous light of God. If that's not the intentions of you being out, you can't call that doing the work. Go out into the chief place, into the streets and in the lanes of the city and go bring people in. And then guess what? At that point, when you present yourself before Yahushua, right, and the Most High, only thing you'll be able to say is, I did it as you commanded me, Lord. Go ahead.
And it says, and the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled.
Go out to the highways and hedges. And as they're compelled, it says, you might fill the house of the Most High God. That's the intention. That's the purpose. If we keep putting everything else out there, or if we keep allowing, ourselves to wait for the people to look and inquire, we'll never get it, man. We'll that day, that hour that no man knows of, we'll be waiting on that for a very, very long time. What you got? That's it. With that, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share the page, share the videos. Continue to support. We out here. We're going to keep trying to put videos out for you guys, man. We appreciate y'all for supporting, man. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yashar Barakatham. We give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God. Abanaw Yahweh Bashem Mashak Yahweh Shai. Say shalom.